Next, we have John Abeigon. Mm-hmm. Not here.
I would say to the student organizations, the Youth Media Symposium, the People's Organization of Progress, any other people-based organizations in this city, that it's time now to practice extreme civil disobedience. For those advisory board members who are looking into the lead water fiasco, I would advise that you go down to 2 Cedar Street as soon as you possibly can and grab all the school dude reports. School dude, D-U-D-E. That's the requisition form that every facilities management member has to log into at the end of their shift to report. We need 10 mop heads, we need 5 cases of bleach, and we need 10 lead water filters. That's where you'll find the evidence that for the past 4 years, they've been asking for it and not receiving anything. Okay, they're trying to throw some guy. There's no love between me and Keith Barton, but I'll be damned if I allow certain people to throw another brother under the bus for something that he was not responsible for. There's only so many times that he can go to the well and say, we need water up in here, we need lead water filters, and be told by somebody like Vanessa Rodriguez, I don't want to hear about it. We got no money for it. We're here, because we're passionate about our city, about our students and our profession. We're all saddened by our state's refusal to increase education funding. The $2 million the state sent our traditional schools was a slap in the face when compared to the $23 million they sent to the corporate charters to hold them harmless to the cuts you plan on announcing. You will point your finger at the state's flat funding and illegal implementation of the school funding formula, but the only reason you can even tackle the issue is because year after year, crisis after crisis, the corporate charter district of Newark you have created is devouring more and more of your budget. But that's fine, because as you work towards local control, there will be nothing left by the time he is through. This school advisory board each year has less and less say over less and less students, until ultimately there will be nothing left for you to control. This board needs to vote against any further school closings or consolidations, vote against any further cuts to any traditional schools, diminish any athletic or artistic program. His veto be damned. You need to stand up for yourselves, stand up for public education in this city. Somewhere in our city is the student who will grow up to do cancer research and maybe find the cure. Somewhere in our city is a student working on getting an athletic scholarship as a way out of the wretched system you have imprisoned her in. You may have been one of the speakers that just left the podium. Everywhere in our city, there are teachers putting away dishes, putting their own kids to sleep, and just around 10 p.m., preparing to do lesson plans so that tomorrow they can teach our students. You and your predecessors over the last 3 years have spent tens of millions of dollars on connected consultants to do nothing but further enrich themselves. Millions that could have been used to reduce class size, to hire experienced special ed crisis managers to help our most vulnerable students, and yes, to buy lead water filters. The millions they have carted off are well documented, including nearly $700,000 to Global Education Advisors, or the $1 million sent to Amplify, 2 companies you should know a lot about. But let me not dwell on the past. John, don't focus on the past. Let's look at the present and the future. A court-appointed monitor overseeing a class action settlement to improve special education at the Newark Public Schools raised serious questions in October 2015 about the validity of key records in the NPS files of children seeking special education services. The questionable records were uniformly written, undated letters containing the date for determining whether NPS has complied with a court-imposed 90-day deadline for providing services to children with disabilities. The letters were found only in those files taken from district schools to the NPS central office for purposes of the monitor's review. What, if anything, has been done or shared with this audience The monitor, Priscilla Petrosky, questioned the credibility of the bogus form letters because the dates for implementing special education services contradicted other information in the files. She also found no evidence that MPS actually provided the letters to parents, as required by law. Have you conducted any investigation as to who in central office was behind that alleged fraud? Or have we forgotten about it? The Education Law Center hasn't forgotten about it. You haven't done anything about it because they're special ed kids and you don't really care. In February 2016, an administrative law judge declared that the firing of attendance counselors was illegal. Under her failed attendance policy, pretend today, deceive tomorrow, your protege, the now discredited Cammie Anderson, illegally abolished the position of attendance counselor. You were Commissioner of Education at the time. Did you not know that the plan she submitted was illegal? Or as I suspect, you just didn't care because like all education reformers, you believe that you are above the law and that laws are stupid unless you've written them. Have you called them back as ordered? Or do you plan on filing an exception? What did you do? You publicly formed another committee to look into the matter of attendance. We all know what the result of that committee will be. Nothing. Because you're not educators, you don't even know what to look for. These kids aren't dropping out, you're throwing them out. In December, the NPS began testing lead levels in the school's drinking water. Did you not know about the testing? Last Monday, while at another corporate charter school expansion event, at which you kept quiet about what you had known about since the previous Thursday, that children and staff in your schools were drinking lead-contaminated water. Your claim is that you waited until Wednesday so that you could work things out with the Department of Health and the Department of Environmental Protection. Do me a favor. If my house is on fire, don't run out and get help and not tell me that the house is on fire while I wait for you to come back with help.
That's right.
School board members, please, this is your last opportunity. It is incumbent upon this Board of Education and the community and political organizations that support you to press for this man's termination before any further damage is done to our public schools or more harm comes to our children. We need a public school superintendent who meets the needs of students and staff in our traditional schools, who at the very least has a certification. The students and parents deserve it, this community deserves it, and our teachers, aides, and clerks deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abeigon. Next, we have Sheila Montague.